big congrats over to Team Sweden for taking the 2026 World Junior Hockey Championship in a gold medal game against Czechia. 4-2 is the final score as Sweden finally overcomes their demons and wins their first gold medal in what seems like forever. It's not Canada, it's not the US, it's Sweden, baby. And my immediate thoughts after watching that game unfold and seeing the medal ceremony and seeing everybody shake hands and whatnot, this game gave me a bigger appreciation for this year's World Junior Tournament as a whole, as well as the way that these players and these teams conduct themselves. Maybe I'm just salty as a Canadian dude who had seen Canada lose in the semifinal game yesterday in such an embarrassing way. Canada, by the way, won bronze, 6-3 victory over Finland earlier this afternoon. But this Sweden and Czechia gold medal game was one that I think we can hang our hat on and say that maybe it wasn't the most entertaining at times, but it was a very appropriate, very tight, and very well-defended game. If anything, I feel like Team Sweden versus Team Czechia this year, it almost reminded me of Team Canada versus Team Sweden at the 2014 gold medal Olympic Games, where Canada won 3-0, Carey Price got the shutout in the gold medal game, but most people walked away out of that experience saying, man, that was kind of boring. Like, Canada just shut it down, they just compressed everything that Sweden was trying to do, they just suffocated Sweden's offense, and they waltzed their way to a gold medal. I'm not saying necessarily Sweden did the same thing here to Czechia, but it's what they had in mind, it seemed. Only late in the third, where Sweden started to put the foot off the gas, did we see Czechia have a fighting chance, and then they scored 2 goals to really make things interesting, only for the empty netter to seal the deal and give Sweden the victory. Ultimately, though, I feel like from the way both of these teams have conducted themselves, the way they've displayed their skill, the teamwork by Czechia, the individual talent by these Swedish top-tier guys, not to mention just the demeanor on the ice and during the ceremony, it's a really nice breath of fresh air compared to what we saw yesterday between Czechia and Canada. And I'm mostly saying that as a diss to the Canadian players because of their outrage and the abuse of officials and the unlikability factor going off the charts from that team. For the most part, I don't think anybody's going to complain about the results of this year's World Junior Championship. Sweden getting the gold, absolutely amazing, and obviously something that they have been looking forward to for a very long time. They haven't won a gold medal since 2012. It's been over a decade. All those wins in the round robin had never seemed to have gotten them to the top of the mountain up until now. And just looking at the talent of the players that got them to this point, oh boy, there's a lot to like about Sweden's hockey future. Goals of the game, you had yourselves 1-0 Kasper Justovara, who ended up getting things started in the first period. Victor Eklund in the second period brought the Swedes up 2-0, and then Sasha Boumedienne made things 3-0 in the third. Adam Juracek and Matej Kubiesa almost got things tied up late in that third period for Czechia. But it is ultimately Ivar Stenberg who gets the empty netter and seals the deal 4-2. Let's start out there, shall we? Ivar Stenberg, I've been seeing so many people just turn their heads at the way this guy plays the game, and for good reason. You want to talk about guys who are as close to NHL-level athletes in terms of their decision-making, the poise, the physicality, the way they move. Ivar Stenberg is that guy. And I think, just based off of the way he had played in this tournament, you can have a legitimate conversation that this guy is the number 1 overall prospect in this year's NHL Draft over Gavin McKenna. I mean, yeah, Stenberg didn't produce as many points in this year's World Juniors compared to McKenna, but then again, you know, readiness and attitude goes a long way. We saw Gavin McKenna produce a hell of a lot of points against Denmark. He had a hat trick in that game, and he had multiple points in other games against other teams, but when the going got tough, And when the games meant more, Gavin McKenna wasn't really doing too much. And I say that knowing that he was able to produce like crazy. It's just, I question whether or not McKenna is more of a Patrick Kane type, where he can take over a game, he can win you a series, he can be the face of a team that wins a championship, or is he more of a Mitch Marner type that does have those skills, that probably does have the ability to make it happen, but who just can't find a way to do that, who cannot lead his team to victory? Ivar Stenberg, while he may not necessarily have the vision or the puck skills that a Gavin McKenna does, the guy gets results. And he's already producing a hell of a lot of points in Sweden's Pro Hockey League over there. This tournament was honestly looking pretty easy for him, and the way he was able to just make things happen and control the game. Anton Frondell, 3rd overall pick by the Chicago Blackhawks earlier last draft, he was looking like a stud too. The Swedes were dedicated by committee, and then in net you had yourselves a very strong Love Harnstam, who was able to go out there and do his thing. I mean, this Swedish squad, they deserve it. It came up against a very difficult Czech squad with some good scorers themselves. Wojtek Sihas was doing extraordinarily well this entire tournament. And then you have those guys on D, Galvas and Adam Jiricek, both just smothering competition, scoring some points. There was so much to like out of Team Czechia this season, and they deserved the silver medal. Definitely was a better candidate for that over Canada, in my opinion. But ultimately, it's Team Sweden's, 3rd overall gold medal in World Junior Hockey history. They had only won in 1981 and 2012, so seeing them actually get back up there in the gold column, it's awesome. Totally deserved for this team. They're deep, they played with intensity, they were able to suffocate Czechia for most of this gold medal game. And honestly, I don't really think Czechia had much going for them in the first and second periods, other than like a post here and there. It was a difficult loss for the Czechs, who were really battling their way to get here. But what I liked about the way they finished this game is what we saw after the game was over. Like, yeah, they battled back, they got 2 late goals, they almost tied it, but then there was an empty netter. But once the medals were handed out, we saw a lot of these Czech guys just holding the medals in their hands, looking at the medal, staring it down, moving it around, flipping it over and under. Like, these guys really appreciated that silver medal. And for some reason, the thing that pops into my mind when I think about silver medals, I think about Elias Anderson a few years ago for Team Sweden when he won the silver medal at the World Juniors, and then he tossed it into the crowd because he was so frustrated. The Czechs should be very, very proud of themselves. Sweden as well. Lots to like out of this year's World Juniors for these European teams. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Swedish and Czech gold medal game? Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.